Black-eyed peas and greens is a New Year's Day tradition down south. So Publix had a buy one get one on these mustard greens. So we loaded up on mustard greens, but we're not going to make our traditional meal. We're going to make Coconut Saag. It's a recipe that my wife saw on the New York Times cooking channel by Priya Krishna. It's a lot like the other saag meal we made in a previous video that you should watch. And we're going to change it a little bit. She used paneer, which is like an Indian cheese. We're going to use tofu. We're going to make it not as spicy as the one that she makes, but otherwise it's pretty straightforward. We have the we're doubling it too because we're going to feed a lot of people. We have the mustard greens. We have coriander seeds and cardamom pods, onions, and the tofu. And do you remember that ginger garlic mix that we made in the previous video that you should go watch if you don't know what I'm talking about? We're going to even pull that out and use it. So let's get started. So this video starts off with browning the coriander seeds and the cardamom pods. And the woman we watched do this, Priya, she said that we have to watch them kind of closely because they can go from toasted to blackened real quick. So once these get fragrant and start to brown, we throw in the onions. These are just roughly cut because in the end, it's all going to get blended up. She used a blender to do her work, but we're going to use an immersion blender just for the excitement of it all. So as you can imagine, these onions cook down. Maybe we'll cook for 5 minutes or so. I'm still kind of new to this, so I don't know how much to cook these onions. I don't know when they're translucent, as the recipe likes to say. But my advisor tells me that they need to cook a little bit more to maybe even get a little bit brown. So let's cook them some more. So this is the moment I'm excited for, to add this garlic ginger paste that we made the other day, the one I almost lost a finger over. But it's going to be worth it because look, rather than having to get some ginger and get some garlic and mush it up and all, it's already processed and ready to go. But I don't know how much to add, so I'm going to ask real quick. How much do I add? This much? A little more than this, which is easy to do. You just break it off, toss it in. So in the video we watched, Priya called this a magic trick. We're going to get these 2 bowls of greens into this one small red pot. And, well, believe it or not, it's going to work. So let's do it. We have to do it in small batches, though. We can't go all at once. Throw in a little bit. Let it wilt down. Throw in some more. Keep working it. Here's the last of the first pound. So I'm going to start adding the second pound. And in hindsight, I didn't really think about this until now. I usually cut these, this part out of the greens. I guess it doesn't matter because we're grinding it all up. But I don't know, when I do it. Of course, these greens came to us all pre-chopped up already. So I'll just work with it. Maybe in a future video, I'll show you how I use the greens from my garden. That's cooked down nicely, so we're going to take it off the heat. And we're going to add some lime juice and some salt. Here's a pro tip. How kosher salt comes in that box and it's got the stupid spout that never works. We just took the kosher salt, put it in an old mayonnaise jar, and it's so much easier to scoop out. So in this recipe, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of salt. And if we need more, we'll add more later. Because we've doubled the recipe, so we might need more salt. I'm not sure. We're also going to use this little lime. It might not be much to look at, but we got this lime from the tree out back. It's the tree's first year, so we can't expect too much, but we're very proud of it. It's little, but it's got a lot of juice in it. A slight change of plans. I said I was going to use the immersion blender like we did in the previous video that I'm sure you've watched by this point. But, I noticed those tough spines that were included, so I'm going to use my all-time favorite kitchen tool. I complain a lot about some of the devices we have in our kitchen, but so let's make sure the top is on really tightly when we do this. And let's see if I can do this without killing myself. There's always a challenge when you're dealing with really hot liquids and putting them in a blender. So let's make sure the top is on really tightly when we do this. There's probably a better device for scooping. But hey, that would involve walking all the way across the room to the drawer. Uh-oh, just dumped it all over the counter. There should be some sort of device that holds this in place. Business idea. Robotic arm to hold the big heavy metal pot. Okay, as they like to say in bad action movies, it's go time. So really how much you blend it is up to you. Do you like a really smooth saag or do you like a chunky saag? I'm not sure what I like, so I'm going to turn off the camera and then ask my wife what she thinks. Got a big thumbs up on that, so let's return it. And the woman in the video showed a little trick where she just got some water and swished it around in here so she got all the, or as much as she could, because it doesn't hurt to add a little bit of water. We're just gonna put it back on the stove anyway. So I just put a little water from the sink and got out as much as I could. We don't like to waste around here. What do you think? Looks delicious, right? In the video, the woman added a can of coconut milk. So if we were to double this recipe, it'd be 2 cans of coconut milk. But I'm not the biggest fan of coconut milk, so I'm just going to stick with the 1 can and see how it goes. Here's our coconut milk. Make sure to shake it well. Delicious. Now all we have to do is add in the tofu. Now, I have heard that if you freeze tofu and then you thaw it out and you squeeze the water out of it, that it absorbs the taste of the food you're mixing it with better. So I don't know if that's true or not. If you've heard that theory, tell me about it in the comments. Tell me whether it's true or not. Keeping with the coconut theme, we're going to add about 1.5 tablespoons of coconut oil to this pan here. And by the looks of things, it's about time for another Costco run. One advantage of me not working 9 to 5 is, besides the fact I don't have to work 9 to 5, is that when you do run out of coconut oil, I'm just the guy to go and get you some more. So now that the oil is warm, we're going to add 2 teaspoons of fennel seeds and another spice that I can't pronounce, but the recipe is going to be in the description. And we're just going to let that brown up. My wife says it's called assafoetida. I don't know if she's putting me on or not. Okay, so this is kind of exciting because I get to hold the masala dova and I get to put this cashmere chili. We doubled the recipe, so this is maybe half a teaspoon or a teaspoon, a little more than half a teaspoon. I don't know, but we'll throw that in there. Stir it around. And then once you do that, turn off your burner and put it directly into your saag. I don't know if it's supposed to do that, but that was kind of cool. And then just kind of make it look nice. And you're done.
That's exactly what the sound is supposed to make. So you did it perfectly.
So we're done. The only thing left to do is to taste it and see if we did a good job. So here we go. And of course, it tastes really good. And what's interesting is it doesn't really taste that coconutty. It just tastes delicious. Got my rice, got my scooper. Get a little bit of that tofu in here. I'm glad my wife found this recipe on the New York Times site because I was just gonna make an Aldi pizza. It looks really good. Let's try it out. It is really good. give it a try. You can see that it really wasn't that hard to make. Didn't take that much time. Okay, it's everybody's favorite time of the video, time to clean up. So let's get started.